your context in terms of your society that lives or works in that area, if you understand the anthropological history or try to understand it, then you may be dealing with users that haven't traditionally had a voice.
Right.
What you start, if you come with your traditional design approaches, you can often see that there's sometimes a disconnect, because the philosophical position of what is designed doesn't actually suit the local community or the local neighborhood's actual needs and desires, and in many ways you could argue is culturally inappropriate. And you need to take that local community with you on that journey in a genuine and real participatory way, rather than a tick boxing kind of exercise in terms of, yes, we've had public participation. It needs to be a lot more grounded in terms of what their needs are. I mean, certainly in my context in South Africa, we've got numerous examples of beautiful buildings that have been built in socioeconomically marginalized areas, based on an idea that is what the community needs. But when you actually speak to the community, it's not what they wanted. It's not what they actually needed. And let's say, for example, it's a shopping center that is being built, but the community didn't actually need or want a shopping center. What they need is a community center, like a hall or an orphanage or a creche or something completely different. So public sector money has been put into building something, usually a fairly high asset value, and it stands vacant afterwards and eventually goes derelict. And to understand that is to not assume, I keep coming back to it, my instinct is it's not a top-down approach. So I think as professionals, we often go into contexts or areas and assume that we know everything. We have the solution, and I'm going to come in and give you the solution, and I will walk away and your life will be perfect. And I don't think that's actually necessarily the case in a lot of urban areas around the world. And I mean, obviously my context is South Africa, but I think you could apply a lot of my narrative or what I'm saying to other emerging economies or relatively poor countries where you have urban areas that are pretty derelict. I'm fairly sure that you could even go into cities in Europe or in America where you've got areas that are in urban decay and have very similar conversations with the people, the actual people on the ground. And I think it's just that flipping of that switch to actually acknowledge that as a professional, we don't have the solution necessarily. We don't necessarily know everything about what a community wants or needs. And if you're going into a community to do something about it, actually genuinely with empathy, listen to what their desires and wants are and work with them to develop something that they actually genuinely attach value to. Now, remember, that's a different type of value. It's not economic value on a spreadsheet. It's they attach social value or cultural value to that particular building. And if you're in a socioeconomically marginalized community and you get the community to have that sense of cultural or social attachment to the development, it's less likely to be destroyed, vandalized, and is more likely to be supported.